Hello, Red Nail Energy listeners. This is Macaile, and I had inspiration strike, so I'm sitting down and I'm recording an episode for you. I want to talk today about how you can instantly raise your vibration if you find yourself in a moment where the vibes are not right, which we all have. Even the highest of vibes can dip low sometimes. That sounds like a Dr. Seuss quote. And sometimes it just sucks when that happens, right? So I want to create an episode that not only will hopefully help just the first time you listen to it, but you can return to if there's time where you just need to have some tangible things you can do. And it's coming from someone that is perfectly imperfect and acknowledging that there are moments throughout really great days where the vibes try to dip and we won't allow it and we're going to combat it together. And I was actually kind of having one of these moments. I just finished Pilates. I haven't even brushed my hair since taking it out of the ponytail. So if you're watching these videos, you're welcome. And I just felt myself in a little bit of a funk. And let me be completely honest with you as to what caused it. I woke up in the middle of the night, decided to start scrolling on Instagram at like 3 o'clock in the morning, saw something that made me feel yucky, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. That's how human I am. That's how, like every person listening, I am, in a sense that we all have these things we do and they're kind of masochistic and they actually make us feel some sort of pain, or we know they're not going to feel good, but we do it anyway. And every time we do the thing, we say, why did I do that? I'm not going to do that again. And then we do it again. My other thing that is often my go-to for getting out of this anxious low vibration is to drink an emotional support Celsius or something similar with a lot of caffeine. And I'm also realizing very quickly that that does not help me get out of this weird, gross, low vibe space. So those are a couple of things I would say not to do. And now I just want to hop in and talk a little bit about some of the things that I find to be really helpful when I'm in kind of just a gross space. I want to also just tell everyone listening to pause for a moment and think about every single event that had to occur to get you where you are right now. And every single event that is subsequently going to have to occur in front of you to get you to all the places you've yet to go and meet all of the people you've yet to meet, and just give you an exhale that even in the times where it feels like things are not working out, they are likely working out for you behind the scenes in ways that you could never imagine. When it feels like there is stagnation or life is in a little bit of a standstill, there's a couple things that I think are happening. One, stuff is happening behind the scenes that you couldn't even imagine and will be revealed to you soon. Or two, you know deep in your bones there's a change that needs to happen and you're avoiding it for whatever reason. And the stagnation that you're experiencing is eventually going to push you out of the comfort zone to do the damn thing that you know and you have known needs to be done all along. So when we find these moments where we have kind of a consistent low vibration creep in and we start noticing patterns, that maybe it isn't just our hormones or looking at social media in the middle of the night when we probably shouldn't have done so, and it's actually a pattern, this particular episode can help you in those moments. But I'm telling you right now, it's not going to actually get out of that cycle of having those low vibe moments creep in, because you might need to actually just make a hard decision and make a change that you've been avoiding. In the times where you just kind of wake up on the wrong side of the bed, or you make a choice in the middle of the night that ends up forcing you to wake up on the wrong side of the bed and have that yucky thing within you that you just can't shake, these are some things that I feel like can instantly reverse the direction that that vibration is going and help you get to a place that is high vibration a lot faster. Okay, let's get into it. Number one, have a notes app in your phone called Good Things Are Always Happening to Me. And every time something good happens, open that note and add it to the list. It could be so small, it could be gigantic. It could be anything that makes you kind of smirk and smile and recognize that the universe is on your side and there are always good things happening to you. And the more you start to write them down, the more you'll start to notice them. And I promise you, every single day, there will be something that will happen that you'll go, oh my gosh, I need to put that on the list. And it feels so good because what we focus on, we find. And I'm such a firm believer that the more we start to realize and lean into these good things happening in our life, the more we will be like, yes, please, more of this universe, and the more the universe will provide, and we will start to notice these patterns in every area of our life. I'm going to tell you kind of a funny one that happened to me today as I was in sort of a low vibe, gross place. And I drove through the car wash on my way home from Pilates. And it's one of those like Mr. Car Wash where you drive into the little tire strip that it hooks you into, and then you put your car in neutral and it drags you through the whole thing. Which, by the way, an easy way to also raise your vibration is to go and get your tire on the tracks without them having to point left or right and just nail it the first time around. However, that actually has the opposite effect if they have to give you a bunch of directions, which sometimes I feel like they just do to like prove control. And I know my tire is directly perfect in the tracks and they just are trying to mess with me. And they're like left, right, left. I'm like, how am I both ways off? There's no way. This isn't, you're just trying to make my day worse. Anyway, I will say today, perfectly nailed it. So I'm in there, I'm not paying attention. I'm actually doing Wordle in the car wash because my car's in neutral. And all of a sudden, I feel this commotion and this scuffle behind me. I look up in the rearview mirror and I realize this huge Suburban behind me just drove up onto the tracks, missed the actual thing that was supposed to hook their tire in, and was coming at me full force. And one of the people that worked in there panicked and was like hitting the side of their window and screaming, stop. I look up from my peaceful game of Wordle and they slam on their brakes. They actually had to stop the whole car wash and then reverse them all the way out of it and then back onto the tracks because they had missed the little thing that hooks their tire in. And at first, it raised my heart rate and it made me be like, oh my gosh, that was almost so bad. And then, you know what I did? I got my notes out open. I opened my notes app. I'm not sure what I just said. My brain glitched. I opened my notes app and I opened my good things are always happening to me list. And I added it to the list. Not getting the back of my car railed in the middle of the car wash, because that would have made a sort of bad day a very bad day. And sometimes those types of things, like the near misses, are just as amazing to experience as the really good things happening. Like as I'm going through there, would I have rather had just $100 bill start raining down on my car? Sure, that would have been awesome. And I definitely would have added that to the list. But sometimes the whole burnt toast theory, which I'll tell you guys what that is in case you're not familiar, is actually another way of exhaling and going, oh, the universe, higher power, God, creator, anything that is bigger than me has my back. And just now, there was a force greater than me that stopped this thing from occurring. And thank goodness for this attendant that was paying attention that works at Mr. Car Wash, banging on the window of the Suburban, because now I didn't get hit. And I think that those are equally worth celebrating, because my day would have taken a huge turn. And I'll tell you something right now, I wouldn't be sitting here recording this solo. So all of the near misses are also worth celebrating. Burnt toast theory is the theory that when you're getting ready for work in the morning and you put your toast in the toaster or the oven or however you make your toast. I say oven and people are probably like, who makes their toast in the oven? You guys, I make my toast in the oven. I don't even have a toaster. I broil my toast, my bagels, anything like that in the oven, which usually works out. However, I end up being part of the burnt toast theory quite often because you really have to pay attention and you have to take it out or else it will char to a black dust smithereens if you're not paying attention very quickly, actually. And the whole theory behind the burnt toast theory is that the morning that you make your toast and it burns, so you're a few minutes behind and you're grumbling under your breath because now you're going to be late and you were right on time and you're leaving 5 minutes later because you have to make another round of toast or you have to grab something else because your toast is burned. That 5 minutes of burning your toast may have saved you from being in the wrong place at the right time where you got hit in a car accident. Maybe you walked out your door and a bird shits on your head. I don't know. But that 5 minutes that we don't have accounted for and that we pivoted a tiny, tiny bit because our toast got burned, we have no idea what the universe was saving us from by making us be just 5 minutes later from leaving our house. And so I try, when these little things happen, when I'm kind of stuck in traffic and it's not normally congested at that hour of the day or on those specific roads, when something happens where I'm getting ready to leave my house and I spill my coffee everywhere or I spill my water bottle, whatever, I try to smile and be like, thanks, universe. I have no idea what you just protected me from, but I know it was something big and I appreciate that. And now I'm safe and I'm protected and I appreciate you. And just looking at things with that type of a scope ends up immediately raising my vibration. And then I leave and I'm like, thank goodness I burnt my toast. You know what? I could have just been eaten by a dinosaur. I don't know, but I didn't have to experience it. So thank you. And it really does change things a lot. Okay. So if you have lost me because I just went off on a lot of tangents, because you know what, you guys, I had my emotional support. It's actually called Gorgie. I'm trying new versions because I think Celsius is probably crack cocaine. And I'm trying really hard to branch out. And I think Celsius have like 250 milligrams of caffeine, if I remember correctly. And Gorgies only have, it doesn't appear to be listed. But I swear it was somewhere when I ordered it, and it made me realize, yeah, it's not even saying it. But I do know it has caffeine in here. So, Anyway, well, TBD, I feel like it was like 100 or something, where it was just a lot less. Oh, 150 milligrams of green tea caffeine. So it's better than cocaine caffeine. That's what I'm going to say. However, I probably didn't need it and I've been drinking it. So if you're listening and you're just like, is she okay? Are any of us okay? All right. Number 2, do some sort of a visualization or meditation or a mindset type exercise that you reserve for these types of moments, and you go into almost with like the placebo effect notion that it's going to work. Tell yourself it's going to work, practice it and allow it to work. For me, the one that I do, and it's usually if I'm going to enter into a situation where I know I'm going to be challenged in some way, or my nervous system is going to be activated in some way. Fun little personal fact about me: a good friend of mine that I've had for, I don't know, 8 years at this point, something like that, decided to start dating my ex-boyfriend. And it was a really not super fun situation to encounter. And there have been a couple situations where I lovingly get to see them together because we all engage in the same sport. When I pull up to said place and I see that they're there, I close my eyes. I imagine myself being completely enveloped by like golden, sparkly, glittery, beautiful, swirling light. And this sounds so freaking woo-woo, but I promise you it works. And so don't knock it till you try it. But I close my eyes, I feel it surrounding me, and I almost like chuckle at how glittery I am. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna blind these bitches when I walk in here. And once I do that, it feels like it actually creates some type of a force field around me that doesn't let anything negative penetrate me. And I also just change my mindset where I'm like, I'm so good. I have this golden glitter all up all over me. So when I walk into this place, nothing negative even stands a chance. It's going to bounce off me. My glitter is going to turn it around and send anything negative right back to the source. And I'm good. And not only am I good, but I'm going to walk in and I'm going to raise everyone else's vibration, because how could you not when like a glittery light bulb walks into a building, right? That visualization allows me to come back into my body, feel protected, be present while still protecting and preserving my peace. I think former versions of myself would disassociate. I would just be like, see ya, I'm here, but I'm not really here. Now I want to be all there. And not only do I want to be all there, I want to be all there as the best version of myself that sets boundaries energetically, especially. And that is one energetic boundary that I have when I enter a space, especially if I know I'm going to get triggered. This is not worth my energy. This is not worth lowering my vibration for. So I will close my eyes. I will do that visualization. Whatever works for you. Maybe it's like a tie-dye fur coat. Be Macklemore. Whatever it is that makes you feel like the most protected and like positively charged version of yourself. Imagine that wrapping itself all around you, and then walk into that space with the knowing that you're good. Nothing even stands a chance. And it's so crazy, but it really, really does work. The next one is psychological shaking, which is an actual scientifically proven phenomenon. So animals, especially out in the wild with the predator-prey dynamic, if they are the prey being sought out and they're running from whatever the predator is trying to get them, and they make it out alive, their whole body will physically shake to signal their nervous system, we're good, we can be calm, we are no longer in danger, let's move on with our life. As human beings, we sit at our cute little desks with our cute little shoulders rounded, with our cute little cell phones in our laps, and we allow our body to feel like it's being chased by a predator all day long. Our nervous system is activated all day long, and we have no signal to our body that danger is no longer present. We live in this cycle unless we consciously do something to get ourselves out of it. For a lot of people, working out or moving their body in some way, running, spinning, weightlifting, rock climbing, something physical that kind of shifts your mental state, but also gets your physical body involved, almost unintentionally does the psychological shaking effect, because it really does pull ourselves out of whatever that state of danger is. However, that physical activity can also raise our cortisol and create a response within our body as though we are going under stress. And so it's kind of this interesting double-edged sword. But what we can do to just actually allow our body to be signaled that we're not in danger is engage in psychological shaking. It sounds kind of crazy, but even if you look at people like before they're going to go on stage or before a big like fight, if you watch fighters on the side of a rink and they're jumping around and they're shaking their body out, yes, you're wanting to stay warm and you're wanting to like have your joints be limber and whatever, but you're actually engaging in psychological shaking without maybe being completely aware that that's what you're doing. And in order to do this, you literally just, you can at your desk shake your arms out if that's something that feels good. You can stand up and for 30 seconds, it does not take long, just shake your legs, shake your arms, like really, really get that energy moving through your body. And I promise you, immediately after, you'll be like, oh, I feel weirdly better. And it's another one of those things that I'm like, listen, first of all, it's scientifically backed, so I'm not even going to try to dispute it. But second of all, don't knock it till you try it, because it is something that I will find if I kind of have that weird before a big meeting, before a date, before something that I'm feeling a little bit nervous for, if I have that response start to come in where like my legs kind of get a little shaky or I almost feel cold, but I know I'm not cold, I'm just in this weird nervous state, I will shake that energy out of me and it is gone so fast. And then again, I'm back in my body and I feel so much more present and just so much better. So if you're listening to this and you're stressed out, shake for the next 30 seconds and then keep listening. All right, the next one is text people fishing for compliments. This is a really fun one. This is a really mutually beneficial one, because when you ask someone, for example, hey, you don't even have to say I'm having a bad day. Hey, doing an experiment. What are your 5 favorite things about me? Hey, what is the thing that you love the most about me that sets me apart from your other friends? Hey, if I were writing a resume as a friend or as a blank, whatever it is that you're needing a little boost in, maybe you're in, the service industry in some way that like you do hair, you do nails, what would set me apart in that way? What's your favorite part about me being your hairstylist? What's your favorite part about me being your lawyer, your teacher, your whatever it may be? If you have a relationship with somebody that is able to witness you in that regard, and that's what you're feeling a little bit of imposter syndrome in, ask someone that. And I promise you, it will raise their vibration by stopping and thinking of good things, thinking good thoughts about someone in their life that they love, but also getting that response, which, by the way, we send it out there and it does kind of raise our vibration because we're channeling our brain to positive thoughts. But then when we get it back, it's like, oh my gosh, it feels so nice and allows somebody to compliment us, allows us to practice receiving positive thoughts about us. And just that alone can shift that mindset that we're in so quickly, especially because oftentimes we seek counsel or we accept criticism from people that we would never take advice from. We accept criticism from random people on the internet, from random friends of friends of friends that think what we're doing is stupid or what we're doing. And it's crazy because they are never someone that we would reach out to and say, hey, I'm in this pickle. What do you think I should do? I respect your opinion. So why are we accepting criticism from them? And doing this reframes that entire thing, because first of all, it allows us to choose the source of the information we're receiving, and it's a trusted source. And then it allows that person to raise their own vibration by being kind to us and by allowing us to compliment each other, which it's crazy how many compliments are withheld, how often we're so proud of someone and what they're doing, or we admire something about someone and we've been friends with them for a decade and maybe we've never explicitly shared it. So give people a chance to say kind things about you and boom, raise your vibration. The next one is to choose a hype song and reserve it only for hype. This is similar to the the kind of like mantra / close your eye meditation visualization type thing, go into this, allow this to be the one song, and don't let it be something that, we hear on the radio or it's in the background of every TikTok video or whatever, because the coolest thing about this is we can actually tie it to our limbic system. You know how there's a certain song you hear and all of a sudden you're 17 again, going through a breakup with your middle school boyfriend or high school boyfriend or whatever? We have the ability to kind of create those memories, and maybe there was a concert you went to or something that you did where there was a song that you just, every time you hear it, it takes you back to this really, really positive space. That's a great example of a song to use. And then reserve using that song for the moments where your vibe is a little low and you put it on and it takes you back to that place, or you belt it out and you go into it saying, by the time this song is over, I can't wait to feel the feelings I'm going to feel, because I'm so confident I'm going to feel so much better than I do right now. And practice that and tell yourself that I'm going to feel so good in 3 minutes when this song is done. And then let yourself feel those feelings. And again, it's this amazing thing where maybe it's like Jedi mind tricks with ourselves, but I don't really care because it works. So find your hype song, stick to it, throw it on when you need the reminder, promise yourself you're going to feel better by the time the song is over, and then commit to doing that. The next one is to make a list of your dream life in present tense terms, in a sense that maybe some of the things that feel really far away right now that could be kind of like causing that low vibration are tricking you into thinking that you're never going to have those things, and they're really causing you to feel kind of down. So in that regard, I will sit down and say, okay, we'll just use a job situation and a relationship situation as an example. So you'll sit down and maybe you're doing what I'm doing. You're going to create a membership community that's curated content, and you're not quite there yet, but you want to write it as though in a few months you're writing it present day and you're already there. So you'll write down, I'm a wildly successful creator with a membership platform with 1,000 members. I've created community where people are flourishing, connecting, thriving, and I'm so proud of the community I have created. And then alternatively, with the relationship thing, I feel so safe and loved in my romantic partnership. I am pursued by my partner every single day. I have never felt this loved, appreciated, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I am excited to continue to grow this partnership and see where it goes. I feel so seen, whatever it is that maybe in this moment of low vibration, it's the opposite. It doesn't do us any good to sit down, and while journaling can be helpful, I'm going to say right now, it is not helpful to sit down and say, I feel unseen, I feel so hopeless, and nothing is ever going to work out for me, and I'm never going to have my community, and I'm never going, all those negatives, I'm never going to, or even if you phrase it in a way of like, are you tired of feeling like this? Do you not want to do this anymore? Do you want to stop doing this? Flipping it and instead saying, do you want to feel so good? Do you want to create a community, have a job that you can't wait to wake up and go to, rather than are you tired of waking up in a job that you hate? That has so many negatives in it that even if we're trying to flip the script, we have to like claw our way out of that sentence before we can even start raising the vibration. So instead, we write in present tense of our dream life. I'm living my dream life. I cannot believe when I look around at how much abundance is here. My members are so loyal to my community. We have created this fierce, incredible, amazing community that all of us love to support. We are watching each other thrive. I am financially abundant and free. All of these things that we're desiring to feel, and that maybe in these moments of low vibration, we're being invited to dip down and question and wonder if it's possible. It is. And I'll tell you right now, our brains are kind of easily tricked in the sense that the more we operate from the standpoint of already having everything we desire, the faster we're going to be able to get to that. So make a list from future version of you, writing in present tense, all of the things you cannot wait to come true, and watch them come true. And reread it when you need a reminder, or open up your good things are always happening to me and reread some of those if you just need to be reminded about how many things are always happening for you. The next one is to set a timer for like 20 or 30 minutes and think of a task you've been avoiding and just get it done. Maybe it's calling and making your annual gynecology appointment or dentist appointment or something that feels like it's kind of been lingering. Maybe it's opening the junk drawer, putting a podcast or music on and taking everything out, clearing that junk drawer out and looking at what you've accomplished and feeling so good when it's done. One thing for me is when I set the timer, it never takes as long as I think it's going to take, which is pretty nice. And I usually end up getting in a groove where I feel productive and I'm like, oh my gosh, now I'm going to do my pantry. Now I'm going to do my Tupperware drawer, whatever it may be. And I just feel like finding like a small micro accomplishment that we can get done. And then not only that, but like feel the peace and clarity that comes from cleansing, from releasing, from getting rid of. Really, really productive. Now, I will say choosing to like tackle your entire closet or something that ends up being a much longer and much more stressful job than we ever imagine it's going to be, the entire garage, whatever, maybe not the best thing when you're already feeling a little down. Tackle something doable and then just be proud that you got it done. I think a lot of the time, low vibration is caused by pressure from not doing things that are lurking and lingering and end up actually taking so much less time than we think they're going to take. And getting them done, it just is like, whew, I feel so good. I could take on the world because I called and made that appointment. And now I'm so glad that it's just done. And it snowballs where then it's like, oh, I'm also going to go do this thing. I'm going to go do that thing. And then you're like, what was I worried about? Because it's gone. So clean something, be productive, get something small, a micro accomplishment done, pat yourself on the back, and then move forward with your day. The next one is to do something nice for someone, totally unprompted. I even really like to do this as a stranger because it makes you really get creative to go out in your community and think of something you could do that would be nice for someone else. Sometimes when I'll go out and set out to do something like this, I don't really even know like where I'm going or exactly what I'm doing, and it'll sort of just present itself to me. So maybe it's like you drive to your local library, but on the way, there is somebody that has a sign on the side of the road. There happens to be a gas station. You run in, you grab some bottles of water and some snacks, and you hand it to them. And you didn't even get to the library before an opportunity to do something kind for someone presents itself to you. Other times I'll get to the, say, grocery store or wherever I'm deciding to go, and I wander around there and I kind of just have my eyes peeled for some act of service that I could do that would be nice for someone. And maybe in that amount of time, something pops into my head and it's somebody that I know that I realize, oh, I could go grab this little care package and make it for them. Or I could, wander around the card section and find a card that feels aligned for somebody that I could write a card to and mail the card. There's always so many options of things that we can sort of fall back on. But I've also been really surprised at the way that things will present themselves when I'm open to acts of service and the way that I can serve and show up for other people. Again, instant vibration raise. First of all, it gets you out of the mindset of that woe is me, I'm just going to sit around and feel bad for myself, but it also gives you the opportunity to brighten someone else's day, which automatically brightens yours. The next thing is get the F off social media. Even if you just say, I'm going to take an hour detox right now, I don't know how everyone's patterns are listening to this, but I can promise you, doom scrolling on social media is not going to make you feel any better. And trying to avoid and detach by disassociating and just scrolling mindlessly on social media is also not going to raise your vibration. It's very rare that you happen to just stumble upon a rabbit hole of puppy videos, and one after the next just gives you that boost of dopamine, and then you get off of there and then you feel so much better. We all know that is not how social media works. We all know that algorithmically it is created to be addictive. It is created to make us feel a place of lack, so we will purchase from people that are selling things on there. Think about different platforms of social media as a business, and we are the consumer. And how can they get more from us? How can they make us scroll longer? How can they make us buy more? How can they make us feel worse so that we are provided with some type of a solution that they're the only ones that can give us? And now all of a sudden we are trying to do more to feel better about ourselves. It is a losing battle. And I'm telling you right now that just choosing to take a break and go do something else that's productive will, again, reframe our brain. It will help us kind of disconnect from that dopamine pathway that we've created and that need to just mindlessly scroll. And it feels so good to cleanse and detox a little bit from that addiction. So just make it a conscious choice and get off of there. Maybe get off there for the rest of the day and then check in with yourself that night. And even if it's really, really hard because everything in you and your muscle memory wants to just open it up, Don't. And see how you feel afterwards, and realize that maybe you're trying to heal yourself with the poison that's been making you sick. And it's like, well, this is a tough pill to swallow, but it feels pretty good to start recognizing that some of my patterns are actually creating these gross feelings that I don't want to feel anymore. The next one is to get creative in some capacity. Lately, I've been liking to make little collages, even if it is on my laptop or like on Canva or something. That's a little bit less creative in a sense of like really working with my hands and really like getting on the floor and, cutting out a collage or something. But I'll even just find something creative like a mood board of some sort or a vision board of some sort, and I'll make that. I also have these vision board books from Amazon, and they have perforated little, like you can just tear the little pictures out. And I've made different vision boards from that. I've also gifted it to people, and it's such a good way to just sit down and start focusing on positive things, future things you're hopeful for, asking what your dream life looks like, and then putting it onto paper. And it's a really fun reframe and shift, and also doesn't require you to go to like every optometrist you've ever been to and ask them if they have magazines that are probably like coated in germs and bacteria that you're bringing into your home, and then sitting on the ground and flipping through Better Homes and Gardens and finding like one thing you want to cut out. These books are tailored to us visionaries, us basic girls that just love to see our dream life. And it's amazing because it just, again, makes you reframe, shift a little bit, work with your hands, you're gluing and taping or however you're making it on paper. Then you have this tangible thing you've accomplished that feels really good. If you don't want it to be centered around something that is like futuristic, or even you want it to be more mindless than that, order a funny coloring book on Amazon. There's ones that are like all like swearing and like really funny things, like the little guy sitting in the room and the whole thing is on fire and he's sipping his coffee and it just says, "This is fine." Those types of things that are just like kind of silly, but also allow us to zone in and color them. Order a box of colored pencils and a coloring book that is appealing to you in some way, and have it on deck. And in those times that you just need like a 5-minute brain break, color a little bit of that picture, shift your mindset, get that other side of your brain activated. And it's amazing how when we get out of that logical analytic mind that is driving us crazy, what we can do with it. Think of something new and fun you've been wanting to try. Order clay online. Order something and have it on deck. And I mean, hello, the Taylor Swift girlies know, make some friendship bracelets. Working with our hands and allowing ourselves to process something maybe that's stuck mentally, but allowing ourselves a physical outlet to process that. Chef's kiss, amazing. Try it, do it. Another thing that I have just listed down are a few things that are very common, which I really tried not to just dive in with like, get in nature or whatever, do breath work. But I will just say that the tried and true methods, doing a couple minutes of box breathing, which is where you inhale for a certain amount. So say it's like 6 seconds, pause for 6 seconds, exhale for 6 seconds, pause for 6 seconds. It really allows your brain and your body to get kind of synchronous with itself, and your nervous system can reset with that. There's a lot of box breathing exercises on YouTube that you can pull up, and they have this really nice visual that goes like up while you're inhaling, across while you're holding, down while you're exhaling, across while you're holding. And it's really nice. You can do it for 1 minute if you only have a minute, and it just resets, gets you back in your body, allows you to think about your breath for maybe the first time in the entire week. And it's just a little hack where like, it's the last thing I want to do when I'm feeling low vibe, but I'm like, okay, let me do my stupid breathing. And then I feel so much better afterwards. Along those same lines, if you look up EFT tapping, there's 3-minute tapping videos that you can follow along on YouTube as well. Again, scientifically tried, true, and proven to really allow ourselves to decrease our anxiety, get back in our body, and feel a lot more regulated and better after doing them. So that's another one that I love. I'll link a box breathing and a tapping video that I love in the show notes. So you can always just pull this episode up, click it from there, and boom, you're great. I have to give a little shameless plug to Bees Knees Wellness, because since I have added hemp-derived CBD into my daily routine, I feel like the dial is so much more neutral in a lot of things that used to amp me up. And what I mean by that is If I used to get stressed about a certain thing and the dial would just go from 0 to 60, now I can actually notice that that dial is maybe turning up a little bit still, but it's so much less than it was before, and it turns back down to neutral so much faster. And if the dial does turn up really quick, I have other things I can do throughout the day that allow it to come back to baseline using these products. And so I had a misconception that they were all just going to make you super sleepy. You take them at night. That was the only goal for it. But there are actually a lot of them that are made for the morning, for the daytime. It stays in your system and it actually creates a more like homeostatic environment that just feels better all the time. And I love to wake up in the morning. I do cinnamon CBG in my coffee or under my tongue. And then I have orange and lemon gummies that I'll do like half of one midday, or especially if I get to a point where I'm feeling a little amped, I'll take one. And within 30 minutes, it's not like a high or a feeling where I'm by any means incapacitated or like can't think straight or couldn't drive or anything like that. It's almost like what happens is that thing I was ruminating on just gets plucked out of my brain. And instead of going, whoa, I feel amazing, I go, whoa, I'm not thinking about that thing anymore. Or holy cow, I just was so productive and I just got a bunch of different things done, because it almost turned the dial down on the thing that was so noisy in my brain. And it allows me to just feel a lot more even keel throughout the day, and also lighter, not only in the physical sense of feeling kind of light and airy, but like there's a light force within me more than kind of that dim, dark, trying to be like, are the lights on? Is anyone home feeling? So I just feel brighter and more even and happier, and would love to chat with you guys. If you want to know more about like my specific regimen or what it is that I do, feel free to reach out to me, hello@rednailenergy.com, DM me on Instagram, and I'm more than happy to send you anything that I would recommend, as well as, of course, our discount for Red Nail Energy listeners, RNE15. So use that if you decide that you want to try the products. And I feel like that is definitely something that has made just such a difference in my day to day. Grounding, taking your shoes off, putting your toes in the grass, touching grass in some way, doing a downward dog and just getting upside down for a second. Any way that you can change your environment and like flip things around, lay on your back and do that like candlestick pose where your feet go up in the air. Lay on your back and put your legs up the wall for 5 minutes. Doing something that changes not only your physical environment, because we're so used to being upright and rounded over. That is how we are all day long. Anything you can do to change that up and allow some of that physical energy that's stuck in your body to move around, again, instant vibration raise and will make you feel better, especially if it's something that's kind of silly. So like if I'm just feeling a little blah, I'll like do a downward dog and kind of do some like movement that's just feels good that my body's needing. And I'll usually start giggling and I'll talk to my dog and she'll come up and start licking my arm and shoving her head into me to try to get me to pet her. And it's just this silly little way to break up the day where we're causing something out of nothing, or we're stressing and ruminating over something that just like is not worth our time. You guys, I haven't breathed once since I was doing this whole entire thing. I think I've made it through everything I had listed. I jotted stuff off in like the fastest time, and I'm rereading, and I'm really pretty sure that I've done it again. I've done it again, you guys. The very last thing that I had down that I just think we all could use a reminder of all the time is give yourself some freaking grace. Give yourself grace. Holy moly. We are so hard on ourselves. And if we find the ability to step outside of our own little bodies, turn, look at ourselves, talk to ourselves like we would a friend, how differently would we day to day interact with our own selves? How different would our internal self-talk be? How different would the caliber of punishment and shame that we allow ourselves to be buried under be? So great exercise as well. Think about the thing that you're ruminating or the thing that's causing you to be low vibration. Imagine your very, very best friend, and actually imagine them being the one to say it to you. What would you say to them? It's often so much kinder, so much more gentle and loving than it is when we're actually talking to ourselves. So give yourself grace. If you're in a little bit of a funk, I just gave you so many ways to get out of it. There's absolutely no excuse. If you still find yourself in a funk after listening to this and trying every single thing I listed, I don't know, go to the doctor because I feel like there's nothing else I can even tell you. And I promise you, these things are so tried and true. And while it feels oversimplified sometimes, I really, really think we have all the answers. We hold within our own selves everything we need in order to make some of these energetic shifts. And I'm right there with you. I have so many moments and so many days that I cause my own suffering. We're all guilty of it. And even just sitting down and recording this and talking about these things that are high vibe and getting myself out of this like funky space, I feel 900 times better. So give yourself grace, you guys. We're all in it together. I'm so, so proud to have every one of you listening. Every single one of you, no matter where you find yourself right now. I'm so proud to have you in this community. It takes all of us, a whole village, people just starting, people in the middle, people that think they're finished and then something rocks their world tomorrow and they start right back down that chute from chutes and ladders at space number 1. We are all silly little idiots floating on a giant rock trying to act like we have it figured out when none of us do. And it is such a joy and a blessing to have all of these little idiots in one place where we get to create a community where we're allowed to be imperfect. We're allowed to have days where we're low vibration and we're allowed to help pull each other out of it, cheer each other on, celebrate the highs, sit with each other in the lows, and just realize that once you join this community, you will never have to be alone again. Period. Might drop. The end. Louder for the people in the back. I love you guys so much. You are seen. You are worthy of living a super high vibration dream life. And if you're listening to this right now and you're thinking about joining the community, you are one step closer to being well on your way. Let's do the damn thing together. And I will catch you on the next episode. Bye, guys.